This episode is sponsored by Fred Block's Magic Meets Disney Fan Gatherings. Join more than 550 fans in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania on July 19, 2008, as Magic Meets celebrates its 5th year of fun, friends, and a little bit of magic. Magic Meets is a proud supporter of the Walt Disney World Today podcast. Walt Disney World Today will have the exclusive live broadcast of all of the day's events. For more information, please visit www.magicmeets.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, February 25th, 2008, and this is episode 375 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Matt Hodgberg from StudioCentral.com. On the show today, we have Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And Mike, episode 375, only 25 left until the big 400.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you screw up a few more times so I have some clips.
Yeah, let me give you a good one right here. Just put a long beep over that one.
Oh my God.
Also on the show
Matt,
today,
you're a real cave of wonders. You know that?
Okay, Mike. It was funny one time. That was 3 days ago.
Also on the show today, we have Mike Scopa of All Ears Net. Welcome, Mike.
Can we stop at a mini-mart or something and get some snacks? I have a tendency to get real hungry after a couple of million years.
Oh, I know. Ellen's Energy Adventure.
Right.
And also on the show tonight, we have Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, if you could describe the podcast in terms of beverages, adult beverages, what would it be?
We would definitely be a beer with a shot chaser. That's us. We're sort of the blue collar Disney World podcast, not some sort of elite
White Zinfandel.
Not some sort of white Zinfandel with goat cheese.
That's right.
Sort of Mangello-ish type of podcast.
That's right. And also on tonight, we have Annette Owens of MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. Welcome, Annette.
Hi, guys.
And on today's show, we have an interesting idea that was submitted to us by actually one of our listeners, who's Michelle Scribner-McLean, who... Scopa, why don't you explain the idea since she talked to you about the show idea?
Well, Michelle came up with a pretty good idea. We have a saying, give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world. And she said, gee, if you think about all the little things that you could do to save a few minutes here and a few minutes there when you're in the parks, it would add up at the end of the day. So what we are going to do tonight is talk about some tips, shortcuts, ideas that we use when we're down there, and if you add them all up at the end of the day, they could end up saving you a lot of time and save you from wasting time during the course of the day, so that would allow you to enjoy the parks even more so.
Yeah, and some of these maybe just, you may be only able to measure them in maybe even seconds, maybe a minute or so, but it all adds up in the end. And it, of course, the other thing I think really is it just makes you feel better because you have that sense of like, I'm ahead of the crowd or something like that. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, Scope, why don't you had a pretty good one to start off with. So why don't you get us going?
Okay, so let's say we are going to the Magic Kingdom and we are parking at the TTC and we're taking the tram to the monorail. We walk up the monorail to the monorail ramp to the Magic Kingdom. We want to get on the Monorail Express. What you want to do is you want to get on the next to the last monorail car, and what you want to do is you want to stand near the rear doors on that next to last car, because when the monorail pulls up to the Magic Kingdom, those doors will open up something like 5 to 10 feet from the ramp that you go down to get to the theme park. So
and you get ahead
by doing that, you save time.
You get ahead of everyone else on the monorail.
Exactly.
And the thing is that walkway is so narrow that it's very difficult for other people to pass you.
Yeah.
So essentially, you're ahead of them.
That rail in the middle.
Yeah, there's that rail in the middle. Yeah, that pretty much blocks everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the same people that drink White Zinfandels.
Now, let me just continue a little bit. When you go down, of course, you're going to be ahead of everybody when you get to the baggage, the bag check. And I did a little experiment the last couple of trips, and I've noticed that the well, hopefully it'll still be this way after this show, but the shortest line at the baggage check was always the leftmost checking line on the left side going into the Magic Kingdom. Every single time that had the shortest line for some reason.
It's interesting.
I can see why, because I think it's the way, if you're looking at it, it's like, if you walk straight from that, if you drew a straight line from that point that Scope is talking about, it would go to like the monorail, as opposed to the other one, which is more pointing, the other stations are pointing more like towards the Magic Kingdom. So there may be that human nature to try to go towards the Magic Kingdom.
The ones towards the center had the longest lines.
No, Mike, you brought up a good point when you were telling us about this idea at the beginning of the show. One of the things that stuck out of my mind, it's a simple one that I always employ, and that's at the studios when you're waiting at the park to open. You know, when they let you into Hollywood Boulevard, but you have to wait. And what happens is, you know, most people are going to Sunset Boulevard, obviously. And so what happens, a lot of people go line up on the right-hand side of the street thinking, well, that would make sense. That's closer to the street, right?
Oh, so totally not.
Yeah, the reality is, if you're actually standing in the center towards the left hand of the street, when you turn that corner, first of all, there'll be less people over there. You can easily power walk a whole lot better. It's less crowded over there. And what actually ends up happening is, if you picture the studio, if you look down on a map and you see how the line progresses, when it gets to that split where you can either go left for coaster or right for tower, the people that were started out on that left of center of the street are actually the ones that have the easiest opportunity to get to either attraction. Obviously, if you're going to coaster, well, you're set on the left-hand side. But even for tower, when you get over there, the way the street changes a little bit, it's that the people that are all on the right start getting blocked up by the bathrooms over there.
Yep.
There's on the right-hand side, and that's what stops them over there. So, again, that's an easy way just to beat, a dozen people right over there.
A similar thing is true in the Animal Kingdom, where everyone thinks because you're going to make the right, you want to be over there on the right corner. But the problem is that when the bus comes to do the little show and everything, and they let the crowds through, everyone who's making the right, everyone's on the right side gets pinched off by the crowd from the left. You actually want to be in the center, to your point again, or on the left side. It's actually easier than being on the right.
That's a great tip. Scopa?
Here's something everybody always hears about. You always want to go to the left. You want to stay to the left because everybody goes to the right, and it's much quicker if you go to the left. Well, that's true of most attractions, but if you happen to be in Disney World, let's say this week, which is a very crowded week, I hope Len agrees with me that this is a very crowded week, or the third week in April, or Easter week, or any time in July, if you're going to the Haunted Mansion, you don't want to go to the left. You want to stay to the right. And the reason for that is that if you recall, as you get past the turnstile, as you're making your way under that canopy to the doors, the queue sort of bears to the right. So what you want to do is you want to stay on the right side because it's a shorter distance because you're on the curve. Whereas if you were on the left side of that, it would take longer to get there. Now, it's only a few minutes here and there, but you add all these up, and at the end of the day, you really get to save a lot of time.
See, I've got one. Have you guys seen the thing about being able to rent strollers at your resort? And so at the deluxe and at the moderate resorts, and I think it's true at the value as well. Any of the gift shops, you can actually prepay for your stroller rental there, like if you're checking in the night before or while you're just checking in. It actually saves time versus doing the stroller rental in the theme parks itself. Because you've already paid for it, and then you just swing by where you pick up the strollers, show your receipt, and you're on your way.
Yeah, that
saves like 5 or 10 minutes right there. Yeah,
that's a great.
And you're way ahead of everyone else who's got a stroller already.
Scopa mentioned the Haunted Mansion, and that reminded me now of some of the other ones that you deal when we're dealing with attractions. And I think you guys are. Once I say a couple of these, I think you're going to jump right on. I know that when you're going to Tower of Terror and you're going in the library room, the best spot to go to is to go to the opposite end of where you entered. There's a door over there. It's not very clear because it doesn't look like a door. It slides out, but that's where you want to stand because if you're standing over there, this is going to be true for a lot of other attractions. I think a lot we're going to bring up here. You'll be ahead of everybody in that area, and that's 20, 30 people right there. Same for Rock and Roller Coaster. You're just going to want to slide all the way down to the end, especially staying towards the back, not towards the screen, because people are always crowding the screen, and you can just go right by them and bypass all of them.
It's definitely more important for a Rock and Roller Coaster than it is for a Haunted Mansion because Haunted Mansion's a continuous loading ride. But yeah, I mean it's true, and same thing for Tower of Terror, right? You want to stay and the back sort of on the left-hand side towards the door. In the Haunted Mansion, I think, isn't there a small red LED about eye level that shows you where the door opens?
Isn't it underneath the parasol lady? The woman holding the parasol?
I never link it to a particular painting, but I remember looking for the LED.
Yeah, there's a light there.
Yeah.
Interesting. The other one that comes to mind also is Test Track. When you're going into that pre-show video again, just stay towards the back wall and slide all the way over, and you'll be
all the way over. Exactly.
That one I think makes a big difference to me at least.
Yeah, because again, it's not a continuous loading attraction. You have to wait for each car. So again, like Rock and Roller Coaster, it's again, it's a couple of minutes here, a couple of minutes there.
Yep, absolutely. Annette, do you have one?
Well, I think for me, basic, I walk very fast. So to get in a crowd, like in the Magic Kingdom, I stay away from the hub there at the castle. We never cross that. We're always going around the outer edge because there doesn't seem to be as many people. So the little bridge from Crystal Palace over that goes over into Liberty Square, you know, around that way. Because, I walk fast. So instead of zipping in and out of everybody, that saves a little bit of time, and especially if you're pushing a stroller.
Yeah. Absolutely. At the Magic Kingdom, it's a good point in that because you got to be aware of where the crowds are, and especially once you get to the middle of the day, you start having the stage shows in front of the castle. You start having the Family Fun Day parade. You have the regular parade, and there are ways around it. I know that between Adventureland and Frontierland, there's that little path right by Magic Carpets of Aladdin in Adventureland, and you can cut right over to Frontierland, which is a nice little tip.
I got nothing.
I've got nothing. Actually, I have two quick ones. One of them, getting back to Test Track. If you're one of the first ones into that pre-show room, sometimes those outer doors are still open, and if you're quick enough, you can jump right to those doors and be part of the be part of the group that is just leaving. I've done that several times.
Ma!
Yeah. John, hold wait up!
I've got your medication right here.
I've done that several times. You're not really missing much in that pre-show. The other one is over at the Living Seas. I used to do this with the hydrolators were there. Instead of going through the main area and riding the ride, if you go to the left where the exit is, you can go right through the doors and go right into the attraction. You bypass everything else.
I don't know how those people could have done that without the hydrolators.
Well, you go in and it moves up.
Why would you do it, right?
Yeah, just a lot of stairs, I guess.
But I used to do that all the time, even when the hydrolators were there. It was really cool.
That's a very good tip. I'm trying to think. One of them, I think the fastest way into Fantasyland. Len and I, you did this a couple years ago. I think Mousefest 06, maybe 05. We wanted to go to Frontierland, and we waited by that little path that brings you. It's near the hub. It's a little path that if you continued following it, they stopped us before you'd get there, but if you continued following it, would bring you past where they do story time with Belle.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you mentioned that that's probably one of the fastest ways into Fantasyland.
It is actually. Because you end up there right around the corner from Pooh, so it's fabulous.
That's a good one.
Because everybody's going into Tomorrowland? Is that?
Well, they're going into Tomorrowland, or they're going through the castle, looking for ways to get around the castle. But typically they go wide, and using this one you don't. So.
Right, it makes the most sense to people who want to. They take the main thoroughways. That's the bridge to the main bridge to Tomorrowland, or through the castle. And a lot of times people just completely overlook the little paths, figuring either it doesn't go there or it can't be as fast as the main drag,
Gotta follow the crowd. Gotta follow the crowd.
Other tips?
I found this to be helpful. If you are in the Magic Kingdom and you really are a big Thunder Mountain and Splash Mountain fan, you may want to think about doing those two headliner attractions during the daytime parade, when everybody's watching the parade, or even when Spectral Magic is going on, because in the past, before they had that footbridge along the rivers of whatever that waterway is called, people were cut off from those two attractions during the parades. And I can remember sending my kids off to do Big Thunder and Splash, and I think they rode both attractions 2 times during the course of Spectral Magic. So I don't know if that still holds true today, but that's something that I often mention to people, and I haven't heard anyone complain about it.
The other one that came to mind just now is in Animal Kingdom. If you're riding, Chester and Hester's, not Triceratops spin, the other one, the spinning one. Yeah, you can tell we spend a lot of time in this park.
Primeval
Whirl, yes. Yeah, Primeval Whirl. If they're running both sides, which they hardly ever do, but if they ever run the left side is better because when you exit on the left side, it dumps you like right back in there. If you're on the right side, the only exit, you have to go all the way around to the left side, and then they dump you out. So it's a longer walk, much longer walk. I mean, this is significant. So if you can pick between the right and the left side, although I hardly ever see the left side running, it's always the right side that's running. But if they ever do both of them, the left side is the one to go to simply because the exit line is going to be much quicker. Cool. Well, I think that's it for us today. If you have your own tips, be sure to go to wdwtoday.com, post them in our show notes over there, and share them with us and many of our other listeners. I know that we don't. I'm sure we didn't get them all, and a lot of our listeners always pick up on a lot of little things, and we'd like to learn what you guys know. So, if you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, visit the Walt Disney World Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Silva, Mike Newell, and Annette Owens, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio. This episode is sponsored by Fred Block's Magic Meets Disney Fan Gatherings. Join more than 550 fans in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania on July 19, 2008, as Magic Meets celebrates its 5th year of fun, friends, and a little bit of magic. Magic Meets is a proud supporter of the Walt Disney World Today podcast. Walt Disney World Today will have the exclusive live broadcast of all of the day's events. For more information, please visit www.magicmeets.com.